Libby. Libby is an app that is a extension of Overdrive. So once you log into Libby for the first time, it's going to ask you for your library card number and your PIN or password. And your PIN is typically the last 4 digits of your phone number unless you've changed it to a different password. Once you've done that, it's going to ask you for your library. You'll tell it, sure, it's public library. It's going to then bring you to the Lone Star Digital Library. And it's going to look something like this depending on your settings on your phone. So I have dark mode, so I have it more dark. It's going to be the same general idea, just different coloring on yours if you don't have that turned on. So, all right. One of the things in Libby is you can see up top where you can search for a book. So if you had a specific title in mind, you can come up here and type it in. I was playing earlier, so I'm just going to go to one of them. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. When you're looking at a book, you can see if it's an ebook because it's just a book like the top one, or it's an e-audiobook because it has the ear pods underneath, like the second one over here. Both ebooks and e-audio will allow you to either read or play a sample, which is really helpful if you want to make sure you haven't read the book before. And also, especially playing a sample, to verify that you'd be able to stay interested in the book depending on the narrator. You'll see on both of these, they have calendars. Each book you'll see has a calendar if it's already checked out. It's giving you an idea as to your wait time for your hold. So if I click on this first one, it's going to tell me that it should be about 26 weeks. The way they're getting that number is they're looking at the 12 people waiting, the one person who has it checked out right now, and they're assuming that each person, worst case, is going to keep this for the full 2 weeks that everyone is allowed to read the book, which would then make it 26 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and place a hold anyway, because I know that I myself, when I'm reading, I'm typically a speed reader. So even though I have up to 2 weeks, I'm typically taking 2 to 3 days to read a book, return it, and then it's going to bump it up to the next person in the queue. And as somebody who purchases these things, when the budget allows it, we do try to buy multiple copies if there's enough holds on it. So if people don't put holds on it, we don't realize that many people want it. And our money is limited, so we might not be buying another copy. But if we can see, oh my gosh, like we have only 2 copies and we have 50 holds, that's 25 people waiting per copy, we'll try to bump it down to our 15 ideal best practice, 15 people waiting per copy. So it will still be a while if everyone does it the full 2 weeks, but it's going to be much faster and economical all the way around. If you didn't know what you wanted to read, there's a lot of different ways that you can browse the collection. So you'll see up top it says preferences. It has the plus sign. If you want to hit that, if you knew you just wanted e-audio or just an ebook, you would go to the format and choose it. If you knew that you wanted to look for something in the juvenile section, just wanted to search things for, say, your toddler or your younger kiddo, then that's something you could do, or you can leave it as all. Compatibility, Libby is the app itself, which is compatible with different tablets and smartphones. And Kindle, which is compatible with like the Kindle Fires, some of the older Paperwhites, and then Adobe compatible e-reader. So any other e-reader that's compatible with Adobe. I'm going to go ahead and do Libby for the purpose of today. And I'm going to go back to preferences. To the right of preferences, you can see Explore. When you hit Explore, there's a lot of different guides that are going to pop up. Kids, teens, what's new, what's popular, what's available. I don't think I showed you that. Let me go back. Preferences 2, availability. So you can choose available now on here as well. If you just wanted to check out a book right now, just make sure that you change it back to everything when you're done. Libby is really good about remembering what you did last. And so you might then the next day go in and look for a bestseller that you know isn't going to be available yet, but you want to put a hold on it because you know it's going to like start to get really popular. And if it's just showing you available now, you're not going to see that. Okay, so back to Explore. So I'm going to go ahead and go by subjects. You'll see that it's telling you there's more than 16,000 titles in our catalog. So we have a lot of great selection in here. It's just a matter of finding it. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go down to thriller because I really like thriller. Something to consider when you're doing this, anyone else that's doing the exact same search is going to come up to the same list in the same order. So having said that, be a little patient when you see like the first few are checked out because they probably came here, saw it, and were like, oh, perfect, I'm good, I'm done. You'll see 2 Libby's Pretty Clever and will tell you, hey, you already have this on your loan shelf, which is actually a really good reminder for me because I've been reading the other app and I need to read this one too. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep going. Let's say you found a book. Let's keep going. Whoop. Okay, you found a book and you're not sure what it's about. You've never heard of that author. You want to make sure that it's something you're going to enjoy, or you want to make sure where in the series it is. This one will show you up top. It says number 5 in series, which is helpful. But also if you click on it and scroll down, it's going to give you a summary or the excerpt, so to speak, that's typically found on the back of a book or on the inside of the book jacket. So I can read this and be like, oh, okay, so this is about Detective Amos Becker. Okay, I like that detective. And you can also see, if you're like, I really want to read this book, but I want to read it in order. This is number 5, but I can see we own 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're checked out right now, so I'd have to put a hold, but I'm going to start from the beginning because I like to start at the beginning. And you can just go ahead and click on the calendar and hit place a hold right then, and it will put you on hold for that first one. So just something to consider for a little bit of tip to make it a little bit more helpful. I'm going to go now back to library, and I'm going to show you shelf. So shelf is where all your stuff lives. So any of your loans, if I hit loans, I'll see my one book right now. And if I wanted to manage my loan, if I was like, you know what, I actually want to read this on my Kindle, I would hit manage loan, read with, and I would choose Kindle. And then it would send it to my Kindle. I'm going to go back to shelf, holds. So anything you have on hold, and it'll put them in order of what's coming up first in its estimation based on those calculations we were talking about earlier. So you can see I have some coming right up. I have some that I'm going to be waiting for a while, but I'm usually always reading something. So if anything, it's always a pleasant surprise to be like, oh, that book's actually ready for me. You could look into tags if that's something you're interested in. It's more if you just kind of want to rate your books in a different way to have them accessible. Like I didn't like that book or I did like that book. I don't really utilize the tags, but it's a personal preference. Also, the other tag with the actual books on it, some people use that to track what they're reading, but if you scroll down on here, you can see recent returns. So I can kind of see my reading history that way. And then back to the library homepage. This is just, again, another way to browse. Instead of going through the ways I showed you in Preferences Explore, you can just scroll down here and it's just going to give you like a little bit of a different visual way to see some of the different books than before. So there's no right way or wrong way, but there are definitely some things you can do to make it a little bit easier or to narrow things down more when you're looking for something. So hopefully that was helpful and you guys get started on the Libby app. All right, enjoy.